Hey Cavs fans, welcome to another episode of the Cavs Pick and Roll podcast. I'm Alex, I'm here with Corey, and Corey, I don't even know where to start here. Talking some Cavs basketball, the two games in Orlando. I guess that's where we're going to start at since we last recorded. How you feeling?
We're going to start somewhere else first because that's just
somewhere else.
It's just the way I roll. I like to catch you off guard and not tell you what my plan is. And
all right.
So what for the folks that are watching on YouTube, what jersey are you rocking right now? Because you got a good looking jersey on. I like it.
Everybody should recognize was this last year's? I think it was last year's Mobley jersey. It was the City Edition with the throwback wine and gold colors and the old school logo on the front.
Yeah, that's a sweet jersey. It pops really good. I like the colors on it. And good time to be rocking that. And we'll talk about Mobley and his big performance here this last game. Real quick, while we're on the topic of jerseys, I think I told you this, but I had the Delhi jersey a couple episodes back, and then I ended up finding a Darren Williams jersey out in the wild.
That's crazy. Darren Williams.
At the same Goodwill, the same week I got the Delhi jersey, and it said number 2 Williams, and I had to look up, I'm like, is this Darren Williams or was this Derek Williams? Because I couldn't remember, and I was able to figure out it was Darren Williams. But
dang, I forgot about Derek Williams.
Derek Williams, yeah, man, yeah. So jersey was too big though, so unfortunately it was like a XL or double XL or something crazy like that. So should have grabbed it anyways, but man,
you could have cut it down.
Could have cut it down or just hang it up or something. I don't know.
Yeah, hang it in the background.
Everybody wants a Darren Williams jersey. So
I never cared for him when he was with the Cavs.
Yeah.
I never thought it was all that good. I know you liked him a lot.
He was all right. It was an exciting signing, kind of like Derrick Rose, and then it just didn't work out. So that's kind of what happened during that era. We got a lot of big names: Dwayne Wade, Sean Marion. They just Shaq. They just didn't work out. So
I kind of wish I had some of those jerseys of some of those good players that were kind of journeymen, like
just for proof that they existed. They did play for the Cavs.
Yeah.
Once upon a time. That'll be a fun maybe we'll do that this off season over the summer. We'll talk about some of those maybe those former Cavs players, big names that maybe some Cavs fans have forgotten about.
Like an Anton Jameson jersey.
There you go.
Nice.
So yes, Alex, lots has happened since our last episode. 3 games have happened, and after those first 2 games, Alex, everybody was real confident. I saw on social media, people were just like, sweep, bring out the brooms. Why did people ever even think the Magic had a chance in this series? And it's like,
I think I was saying that on the last episode. I was like, let's go for that sweep.
I mean, to be honest with you, what did we expect? Did we think that Orlando was just going to roll over and die?
They did those first 2 games.
But they were going back home, right? And we knew they were going to have some momentum for that alone. And unfortunately, Alex, the Cavs they weren't prepared for what they got, especially in game 3, because they got railed in game 3. 38-point loss, biggest loss in franchise history. Congratulations, fellas. You now hold that record.
Yeah, it was a blowout. Oh man, that game was so ugly. Halfway through the third quarter, it just felt like it was over. Hell, JB just started putting the bench in. It was so far over. Yeah, it was
embarrassing. It was a really bad game. The Cavs had no answers for the Magic, on the defensive end. And man, this is the first game where either team scored past 100 points. The Cavs barely break 80 points in this game. Really, nobody got going offensively. Jared Allen and Karis LeVert led in scoring with 15 apiece. But, you got very poor performances out of Garland this game. Mitchell didn't quite look like himself. And there just wasn't anybody else that really helped fill the gaps during this game.
Yeah, I mean, just nobody really showed up. What was really off was the 3-point shooting. Like, nobody could make a 3-point shot. They were defending the 3-point line really well. So it was really difficult for anybody to get a clean look. They were running guys off the line. I mean, that had to have been their strategy because, yeah, we shoot, what, Mitchell shot 1 for 6, Garland 1 for 4. Mobley took 3 3-point shots. They were letting Mobley shoot those threes, and he went 0
Right.
for 3.
Yeah.
Strus 0 for 4. Morris 1 for 4. Niang 1 for 2. Okoro 0 for 2. Levert 1 for 5. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Nobody could make a 3-point shot.
And in any kind of playoff environment, no matter who you're playing against on the road, with their fan base just going crazy, like it's going to be tough to win anywhere if you're not shooting good.
23%.
Yeah, that's just horrible, And Orlando made some adjustments as well. I think this was the first game that they put Suggs on Mitchell. I could be wrong on that, and it's not like he shut him down or anything, but he's Jalen Suggs is pesky. I won't call him an excellent defender or anything like that, but he's pesky on Mitchell. And he had a great game offensively. He gave 24 points. Banchero, 31 points. And they really didn't need much more, to be honest with you. A couple other players in double digit scoring. They had 5 players in double digit scoring, and it was a blowout. So horrible game. And one, like I said, in the record books as far as the biggest margin of loss in franchise history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were just never in that game. They just never got started. They didn't come to play. Yeah. After the first quarter, they were down by 10. Yep. After the second quarter, they were down by 16.
Yeah,
I mean, it just kept getting worse and worse, and they scored a total of 16 points in the third quarter.
Yeah,
you get held to the teens, like
it's just not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. So after you get blown out, you get embarrassed in game 3. I'm thinking to myself, okay, the Cavs want to take control of this series. They just got embarrassed. There's no way they're going to come out flat again in game 4. And I'm thinking to myself, they're going to somehow win game 4 and with the possibility of wrapping up the series in Cleveland during game 5. Well, game 4, what happened there, Alex?
They hung with them. They were playing pretty well the first half of the game. And then the second half of the game, they come out in the third quarter and they're just completely flat. I saw a statistic. They showed a statistic about the Cavs in third quarters and just how bad.
Just historically, it's like it happened during the LeBron era, and it's like it still happens. They scored 10 points, 10 in the third quarter of a playoff game. Like it was done as soon as that happened. The Cavs had a huge second quarter, scored 37 points, and you come out of the half, you give 10 points. The Magic scored 37 points. It was over from there. The Cavs get blown out here, 112-89. So, a pretty good size loss there as well. And, man, just gave the Magic all the momentum. You really had an opportunity to take control of that series, be up 3-1, win on the road, have them coming back to Cleveland feeling down. And man, you just, you gave them 2 wins, and, the series was even at that point. Did any performances jump out at you from this game?
I want to know what's going on in that locker room at halftime, that they just always come out so flat and just get overwhelmed in the third quarter. I mean, you look at JB on the sideline, and he's always so mild-mannered, and
he's always moving, though. He's always standing.
He's always moving.
He's always standing. He's always chirping with the refs, I feel like. He's chirping at the refs and stuff a lot, But
you watch Mosley and you see how animated he is, and he's just loud and talking to the players and like pumping guys up, and it just seemed like Orlando had so much pumped up and energy, and the Cavs are just so mild-mannered and serious, and I don't know, they just doesn't seem like they have the same intensity.
Yeah, and I believe this game was a game where Mitchell went scoreless in the second half, if I'm remembering correctly. Like, that's not going to help anything, right? Your best offensive weapon isn't scoring. Levert puts 5 points up this game. Okoro gave you, no points in 21 minutes. Niang 17 minutes, 2 points. Like, Strus only 7 points. So you really didn't get a lot of help again on the offensive end as well. But it goes back to what you were saying on the last episode, Alex, is defense. And again, they give up 100 plus points, 112 points to the Magic. And that's with Banchero only scoring 9 points this game. They gave up, 34 points to Franz, Wagner, and a couple of, they had 4 or 5 other players in double digits, and their best player wasn't even one of the ones that went off on you.
Yeah.
So, it's just an ugly loss, a missed opportunity to really take control of this series, I felt.
Again, with this game, they just didn't shoot any threes, and when they did shoot them, they couldn't buy one. They made 4 3-pointers the entire game.
Yeah, that's a bad sign, and a sign that definitely can't continue on the road, because even if they make it past this series, they have a tougher opponent waiting for them, because the Celtics have already, ended their series with the Heat, and that's who you're waiting for next. So the Cavs got to figure out how to win on the road, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit of the next game coming up. But yeah, just another poor shooting performance, and a lot of players just not giving you that offensive, scoring that they typically do on a night-to-night basis, and in a playoff game, that makes all the difference.
Yeah, another game that they emptied the bench the last few minutes, and I don't know. There's just no excuse for being blown out so bad in a playoff game that you're emptying the bench. It's just embarrassing. Both games were embarrassing.
Yeah, they were both embarrassing, and they also got out rebounded this game too. They only had 29 rebounds to 43 for the Magic. So they only grabbed 2 offensive rebounds this whole game. So not only think of all those bricks they put up, they were only able to get 2 rebounds. So no second chance opportunities. You gave up more rebounds to them. Turnovers are about even. Points in the paint were about even, but there's just too many other categories that, allowed the Magic to pull ahead. And again, the Cavs just didn't get it done. That third quarter just annihilated them. 10 points in the third quarter. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, two horrible losses, and now the narrative starts to change, right? The narrative starts to change on social media and from an article standpoint, and the doom and gloom starts coming back out and all that stuff, which is what you didn't want to have happen. But the series shifts back to Cleveland because, of course, we have home court. And Game 5, Alex, man, this was a slugfest. This was a sweaty palms time game it felt like the entire game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was a good back and forth. It was a great game. The Cavs, they came out swinging in the first quarter. They jumped up. It was 33-23 at the end of the first, up by 10. Yep. They went into the second quarter and they got outscored. They only scored 15 points in the second quarter and let the Magic back into it. So it was a tight game up to the half. And then third quarter, Magic scored 23, Cavs scored 27. It was constantly back and forth. It was a real great game.
I don't know how many lead changes there were, but there had to be a pretty good amount of them. And what I liked about this game was Darius Garland's first quarter performance. He came out red hot, put up 17 points in the first quarter. He was jacking up threes. He looked confident. He was aggressive. And it was an awesome performance, and it helped with that 10-point lead after the first quarter. Where it was disappointing, though, was he only finished with 23 points. Now, for Garland, who's been kind of struggling here lately, that's a great game for Garland. But like after a 17-point quarter, he should have finished with 30-plus easily in this game and kind of cooled off a little bit, only scored a couple more baskets after that. Donovan Mitchell, gave you 28 points in 40 minutes tonight. He wasn't the most efficient, but 28 points is still 28 points, and we'll definitely take it, right?
Yeah, definitely not efficient. 9 for 23 from field goal, 1 for 7 from 3.
He had a couple nice takes to the hole, a couple hero steps and things like that, and some nice, layups and stuff like that. But yeah, just his shooting was just not very efficient. This game, Alex, was also a game where we were missing Jared Allen. Jared Allen suffered a rib contusion. He took an elbow from Franz Wagner And he ended up missing this game, which was kind of shocking because I saw reports the day of the game that, like, Jared Allen suffered a rib contusion and he's questionable for the game tonight. And I'm like, there's no way he's going to miss this game. It's a playoff game, right? And then sure enough, man, the game starts, the Cavs announced the starters and he wasn't in it. And I was like, oh my God. And I, just immediately that anxiety sets in as a Cavs fan. You're missing, your cornerstone, your big man from the lineup. So it felt like this was going to be a tough game without having Allen in it, and it certainly was.
Yeah, I was really surprised to not see Allen out there. I mean, it better be a broken rib to not be playing in a playoff game in a pivotal game 5.
Absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely.
So yeah, that was shocking. I think one of the takeaways from this game that from the previous game where they only shot 17 threes, in this game they shot 37 threes and shot 35%. So they did much better from the 3-point line.
Yep.
And I think that was really the difference here.
Yeah, and home court advantage helps with that too. They obviously have more confidence playing at home, and they jacked up more threes. More of them went in, and it was a very, very tight ball game. It really came down to the very end of the game. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about a couple more players. Max Strus, maybe his best game of this series so far. He was huge in this game. He gave you 16 points. And he really hit some big shots that second half and in that fourth quarter when it was back and forth. He was confident. He was hitting threes. He hit a bomb of a three. He just caught it. The defender was kind of all over him, but the defender wasn't able to really get their hand up. But man, he just caught it. He was a couple feet behind the 3-point line, jacks it up. Nothing but net. That was such a momentum basket right there and was huge. So great game out of him. And JB finally made an adjustment, Alex, that I know you're going to love. He finally pulled Niang from the lineup this game. Which
I loved it.
Yes.
That's why we won right there. We didn't have Niang making bad passes, turning the ball over, playing bad defense. Oh my God, that dude kills me.
Yep. And he went, who'd he go with, Alex? Who'd he go with instead of Niang?
What do you mean?
Marcus Morris.
Oh yeah, well I mean he put Marcus Morris and Tristan Thompson into the game early. Yeah, he put the Bruise brothers in.
I think Morris was what was he, second off the bench in the rotation. He got 26 minutes in this game, gave you 12 points. And you can almost call this the Marcus Morris game because he was able to make an impact. If Marcus Morris didn't give you those minutes and that production, the Cavs don't win this game because Tristan Thompson wasn't going to give you that offensive, kind of production, right? He was just playing because Allen's out. You're hoping he grabs some rebounds, shoves some guys, maybe get some garbage points, which he didn't. He didn't score any baskets. Levert didn't score again. He had another bad game. He hit 1-3. It was an awesome 3, though. It was at the end of the first quarter. The Magic pass in the ball. He stole it and then shot it all in the same motion. It was awesome. He looked like he got fouled too on top of it. That was his only bucket, though. So if Morris doesn't come into this game, Alex, and give you those 12 points and the production he did, I don't think you win this game. And I would say with this game alone, we already got our money's worth for signing Morris because he definitely helped win this game and will most likely be in the rotation moving forward now for this series at least.
It's funny when I was watching the game, I was like, man, they must listen to our podcast because I said in that last episode, I wish they would have put the Bruise brothers out there, Thompson and Morris early, and that's what he ended up doing, and that made a difference. I mean, you can't just keep putting the same guys out there doing the same thing and expecting a different result. You got to mix it up.
Yeah,
and that's finally what JB did is he mixed it up.
He mixed it up, and Niang's been struggling all series. Unfortunately, Merrill's been struggling as well. He hasn't really been able to get going. He's not getting a ton of minutes, but it's just like, man, all you need is three threes out of Sam Merrill, and that's good, right? Like that's all we need. But he really hasn't been able to get going, at least in games where it mattered, scoring, 6 points in a blowout to the Magic on the road doesn't mean anything. We need him to get going in these games when they're close and meaningful. And I think that would really help push us over the hump as well.
Yeah, and he did plug Merrill in early, but
Yeah.
Merrill didn't.
He didn't do anything.
He
Yeah.
shot well. He only had a total of 6 minutes. He shot 2 3-pointers, neither went in. He got pulled, and JB never went back to him the entire game. It's like,
Right.
give him another shot in the second half.
Well, that's where Merrill's got to come out. He's got to come out swinging. He's got to hit that
Yeah.
first or second attempt. And then, JB will have some confidence to keep him in there. And then he's got to keep producing, obviously. Again, we talked about this, I think, in the last episode, or maybe it was the episode before when we were previewing this series. There really
Sometimes it's
isn't
just the threat of Merrill being out there, though,
Yeah,
too.
but I think JB's worried about on the defensive end. There just isn't a great matchup for him. And maybe that's what's, not maybe that's what he's
I
not
think he does
very
pretty good on
confident.
defense. He led he leads the Cavs in drawing charges.
He hustles. He hustles. That's for sure.
He
He
had a nice
hustles.
block right under the hoop,
Yep.
although he got called for the foul, I think,
It's all
on
right.
that play. I remember, but
That's all
Merrill's
right.
no joke.
Yeah. Yeah. So the other thing that stuck out from this game is Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley basically saved this game at the end of the game. First and foremost, Jared Allen is out. So Evan Mobley is your only really true big, right? He played 39 minutes, double, 14 points, 13 rebounds, a couple assists. Sure, he had some blocks in there as well. But at the end of this game, Alex, it's back and forth. The Cavs are up 2. The Magic have an opportunity to tie the game. Franz Wagner decides to take it to the rim. He had scored on the previous possession by getting by Mobley. He made a layup, and he decided to take it again. And it was great because Mobley kind of got beat off the dribble, but he was able to recover. He's got a pretty long wingspan, right? And he just gets the block right before it goes off the glass. And basically the Cavs grab the rebound. The Magic have no other choice but to foul. Mitchell
Hmm.
hits the free throws, and that's the game.
Yeah,
So who would have known who would have known what would have happened if Mobley doesn't get that block? Maybe that game goes in overtime, and who knows what the outcome could have been from there. So,
yeah. Well, Cavs.
man,
Yeah, Mobley got the block. Cavs were up by 4.
well, they were up 2 at that point. They were up 2. Then they went up 4 after they fouled. Mitchell
I,
hits the 2 free throws, and then they hit a 3 at the end of the game.
Bankero hits
Orlando.
a 3 with a
Yeah,
second left. With 1 second left, Strus grabs the rebound, steps out of bounds,
throws
it in so quick that
Yep.
Orlando doesn't have a chance to respond, and time
Right.
expires. It's like, yes.
Man, but that
was
game
great.
really could have went either way, and Mobley really came up big, saved the day there. And man, it'd be such a different narrative right now if the Cavs would have somehow lost that game, especially going back on the road game 6 in Orlando. So you just mentioned Bankero, man. Whew, he was tough this game. He was unstoppable. 39 points. He was making everything.
Yeah.
You would back down the defender, turn around and score. He's pulling up.
Every
He's
time.
hitting 3-pointers. It felt LeBron-esque in a way, to where just right over the top of the defender. It doesn't matter who you were throwing at him.
He has such good size, and he's so strong, and he can shoot the ball, and he's got that mid range game going. He'll back a guy into into the mid range and turn around, fade away, and hit it over and over and over, and nobody can stop him.
No, I mean JB put a Kuro on him, but a Kuro, he's a couple inches shorter, right? So again, he just shot over the top of him, and he could not miss. He had a big slam there towards the end of the game. I think it was on Tristan in transition, if I remember correctly. He was unstoppable this game, and man, what kind of blows my mind is at the end of that game. I don't know if this was the play that was drawn up or if Franz just decided to take it himself because again he beat Mobley on the play before, but thank God they didn't go to Bankero there in that position because he probably would have gotten a bucket or drew a foul and again instead of a saving block potentially it's a tie ball game with a second left in the game and who knows what happens at that point. So just a great performance out of him though, and we played them during the year and all that, but man, watching him in this playoff series, he's definitely an up and coming rising star in this league. And He's going to be a name that is going to be around for quite a while.
Yeah, yeah, he still seems a little streaky.
Yeah. Yep.
But I think it's just a matter of him realizing his game and when to take some of those shots, because he does take like a lot of bad, you know, low efficiency shots. But once he figures out, once it starts clicking for him, he could be unstoppable.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got the size. He's got the athleticism. He's got the shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he can get to the rim. He's got an all around game. So he's going to be a very good player. Orlando has a cornerstone piece for sure in him. The other thing too is what kind of helped the Cavs too is nobody else is really able to get off for Orlando. Suggs gave him 13, Franz gave him 14, but nobody else got in double digit scoring. You know, you didn't have a Markel Fultz go off for 15, 18 points or something like that, or a Cole Anthony, like someone that just didn't have that hero game, which I think also helped. And Charles Barkley said this, that he felt that the Orlando was too stagnant late in that game. They just kept going to Banchero, going to Banchero, going to Banchero. And he was red hot. He couldn't miss, but he felt like their offense was too stagnant as a result. And maybe that's why the players couldn't really end up getting going. But we'll take it, man. That was a close game that could have went either way. And I'm just glad the Cavs were able to squeak out a victory there at home in Game 5.
Yep, they just need to. They gotta get one on the road.
Absolutely, they got to find a way. I don't know if it'll happen, especially if Allen doesn't play. I think they have to play a near perfect game, to be honest with you, to win on the road against Orlando. I don't think it's going to be a blowout win. Like if they win it, it's probably going to be something close to this, where it's a pretty close game. You're going to get everything that Orlando has to offer, because it's win or go home time for them, and it's, you know, their home court on top of it, so they're going to have the fan support. But the Cavs need to play a near perfect game. But if they could somehow win this game and wrap it up on the road, you have some sort of confidence going into the next series, because let's say this goes 7 and the Cavs win it at home. We'll all be ecstatic. We'll all be happy. But man, what did you not do yet? You haven't won a playoff game on the road yet this year. So I feel like they need that for some closure and some confidence going in the next series, versus getting blown out again, or, not being able to get over the hump and, sure, maybe get out of the series, but you're going into Boston not really knowing what's the recipe for winning on the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be so sweet and such a confidence builder if they could get one in Orlando and finish this out in Game 6.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, Boston's waiting at home. They took care of the Heat, in 5 games. So they're waiting on the winner of this series. If this goes 7, that's just longer that Boston has to, watch, scout this series, scout both teams, rest. I don't know if anybody's banged up on that team or not, but if there are, it allows them to get more healthy and just prepare. They have more time to prepare. So you want to try to end this series if you can, sooner than later.
Yeah, that Boston matchup is going to be brutal.
It's going to be brutal. And what's kind of crazy, and I'm sure there's Cavs fans that are watching what's going on outside of this series, is, the Cavs, we talked about this, how they kind of purposely lost that last game, or at least it felt that way, for that first round matchup and trying to avoid, the 76ers or whatever. Well, if the Cavs were the 2nd seed right now, they'd be playing the Indiana Pacers in the next round, who just knocked off the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, to be fair, Giannis hasn't really played in this. I don't think he's played at all in this series, or maybe he only played very early in this series. He didn't play in the game today, the elimination game. And I think Lillard missed a game as well. So they didn't beat Giannis, but they did eliminate the Bucks, and they're advancing to the 2nd round. And, who would you rather be playing right now, Alex, the Pacers or the Celtics? So,
yeah.
But we got to take care of business here first. Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. It's probably what got us in trouble and got us smoked on the road in Orlando.
Yeah, that positioning jockeying may have bit us, but we'll find out. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
it's always hindsight, right?
There's always hindsight. We'll take it one game at a time. We'll talk about all that. I mean, to be honest with you, the next episode that we'll put out, will probably be after this series wraps up. And hopefully we're still talking about, Cavs basketball and not the end of the season.
Yeah.
And then we can start to talk about the next series. So we got to finish wrapping up this one and give our thoughts on it, before anything else.
Hopefully we'll be talking about a Cavs victory. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about Anton Jameson and Jamario Moon.
Hey man, the summer, I always look forward to talking to that stuff. That's kind of fun stuff though.
Yeah.
You get to just talk about whatever. But yeah, it'd be a disappointing way to end the season for sure. So the Cavs got to find a way to wrap up this series. And like you said, the confidence builder would be huge if you wrapped it up on the road in Game 6. I don't know, Alex, man. What do you got? You got anything else? Is that it? Any words of wisdom? Yeah. For the Cavs?
I don't know what to tell them.
Should they keep rolling with Morris and Thompson on the road?
I'm nervous. Yeah. I think they got to put Morris and Thompson out there. I'd say get them out there early.
Even if Allen plays, would you still play both of them, or would you lean on one over the other?
I think I would rotate them in at different times and see what they can bring. Both of them are tough guys, scrappy. I mean, these are some physical games. Like officials are really letting them scrap. Like guys are shoving each other down, and there's no calls. Shoving each other out of bounds.
It's playoff for you.
Yeah, well, not sometimes, right? Sometimes.
Yeah.
NBA officiating's yeah. Anyway,
I see nothing wrong with giving each of them 10 to 15 minutes in this game, even if Allen is back. But we'll see what JB ends up doing.
Kind of like what JB did with Merrill. If you plug them in, they're not producing, you pull them out. But try them again later. You never know. I mean,
yeah. I think Morris for sure will get some minutes just because of the offense he was able to provide this game. But we'll see what JB ends up doing. What the Cavs end up doing. Friday night game. Hopefully it'll be a good way to start the weekend. If it does go 7, I think you said, did we hear Game 7 is probably on Sunday, right?
Yeah, I heard Sunday.
So the series is going to be wrapped up one way or another here by the end of the weekend. And we'll be talking all about it, shortly after that. So I'm excited, but like you, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm sure a lot of Cavs fans are, because we just don't know what version of the team is going to show up. They kind of been helter-skelter all year, but hopefully they're going to show up in a big way and close out this series one way or another, whether it's, on the road or at home. We'll take it. We'll take it as well if they close it out on the road, Game 7 as well. It'd just be nice to get that confidence boost.
Play defense, shoot those threes, let it fly.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do. That's the key to winning there.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, Alex, I think we'll go ahead, wrap up this episode of the Cavs Pick and Roll podcast. I want to thank you, Cavs fans, as always, for tuning in and listening. And Alex, you want to let them know where they can follow us and connect with us.
Follow us on Twitter at Cavs Pick and Roll. Shoot us an email, cavspickandroll@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr. Watch this episode on YouTube. Wherever you're listening, click like, subscribe. Leave us a rating or review. We'd appreciate it.
All right, Cavs fans, there it is. We will talk to you again soon.
Peace out, Cavs fans.